What's up guys, Phoenix here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about a new card from the Dark Illusion set that just released over in the OCG, and funnily enough this is actually a card that I had planned on making a video on literally weeks ago when it was originally spoiled, but somehow I just forgot about it completely. It was probably during a mass recording and editing session, and I think I actually recorded a video talking about this card, but I believe the file actually just got lost somewhere in the editing process when I was bulk editing a lot of things. So I lost the footage if I made it, and I completely forgot about the card until I was reminded about it in a game that I was playing today on DEVpro, and that is Cosmic Cyclone, another new potential MST replacement for future formats. Now this card actually fills a very cool niche that not all of the MST replacements have been able to fulfill, and that is the fact that it actually banishes the cards rather than destroying them. But anyway, Cosmic Cyclone, very, very simple card, quick play spell card, pay 1,000 life points, then target one spell or trap card on the field as cost, banish it. That's the entire effect, that's all you need to be worried about. So it is literally card for card the closest thing to an MST replacement that we've ever had, because we've had all these cards in the past that people have talked about, like, ooh, this replaces Mystical Space Typhoon, because we've had Artifact Ignition, which is artifact exclusive, we've had Twin Twister, we've had Galaxy Cyclone, we've had Dust Tornado, which is strictly worse because it's a trap. All these different things that people are like, ooh, look, this is just the new MST. But this card itself is the closest thing to actually being an MST replacement, specifically because it is the closest in function and card type to what MST actually does, and it is not archetype specific in the form of like Artifact Ignition would be. But this card is very, very cool. It's got very niche interactions, specifically against, like, if we look at the current metagame, it would be against Cosmos and against Pendulums. The fact that you have to pay 1,000 is kind of a detractor, but I mean, you can't really make a card like this that is actually just 100% better than MST if it was literally just target a spell or trap on the field and quick play. If this card didn't have you pay 1,000, it would just, there'd be zero reason to run MST in the future, because why would you destroy the card when you could banish it? There would be very, very few outlying factors that would contribute to why MST would be better, but they would be very few and far between. But this card specifically just has a lot of very good interactions in the current metagame that we have in the form of Pendulums and Cosmo. Now, you get to pay 1,000 and banish Pendulum Scales. That's very good. If you destroyed them with MST or Twin Twister or something like that, they would go to the extra deck, and if they could set up another scale, then you basically just did nothing. You took an inherent minus to yourself, because those are still resources they get to access. Against Cosmos, this gets to banish Cosmo Town, which is basically the only way you can remove it from the board other than spinning it to deck without triggering its ability to search for another Cosmo card, typically another Cosmo Town, because, I mean, honestly, that's a really strong card for that deck. So ultimately, I really like this card. I really, really like this card, and I completely understand why it has the pay 1,000 thing. I do think 1,000 is maybe too much, but then again, thinking about it objectively, if it was anything like 500 or even like nothing, it would literally just be a card that is 100% being printed that's better than MST. It's kind of like when Wiretap was printed. Like, that card is 100% better than 7 Tools of the Bandit. There's literally no reason to play 7 Tools of the Bandit over Wiretap now. Same thing with Manju and Sinju of the 1,000 and 10,000 hands for ritual decks. If you were only going to play a playset of one, then you're just not going to play Sinju, because Sinju only searches ritual monsters, whereas Manju searches ritual and ritual spell monsters. They are virtually the same card. One was just printed to be better. It's sort of the exact same concept, card for card, if you look at something like Sakuretsu armor being completely outdated by Dimensional Prison being printed. That is honestly probably the closest one-for-one comparison that you could do between MST and Cosmic Cyclone if Cosmic Cyclone had no pay cost versus Sakuretsu and Deep Prison, because there's literally zero reason to play Sakuretsu armor, because banishing the monster is almost always better, and both cards are exactly the same in what they do. One banishes, one destroys. So if Cosmic Cyclone had no cost, then it would basically just be the exact same sort of thing. Mystical Space Typhoon would literally be invalidated by this card, and that's something that kind of sucks if a game actually starts doing on a regular basis. But, I mean, it's kind of good that they caught this, because banishing spells and traps is actually very, very strong, because of the fact that, like, you can banish key cards that are like combo pieces that are in the form of things like Cosmo Town and and like you can respond to like El Shaddoll fusions and stuff like that and banish them. Like all these different little niche things come up that just make this card better. Normally, in normal game states, it wouldn't actually matter that you were banishing the spell or trap, but the fact that it can be better is what would make this card better than MST, ultimately. But the fact that you have to pay for it is what makes it sort of okay, but I still think this card is strictly better than Mystical Space Typhoon. I believe that between the combination of this and Twin Twister, I don't think anyone should really probably be playing Mystical Space Typhoon in their decks, because like, even though you pay 1,000 for this, and you discard a card for Twin Twister to hit potentially 2 cards, like, all in all, the like diversity of what we have available to us ultimately just kind of outclasses what Mystical Space Typhoon can do for you, because it just, like I said, it's almost rare that it will ever come up that Mystical Space Typhoon destroying a card is like bad, but it is such a heavy like part of our metagame in the form of we have Pendulum archetypes that are coming out in the future, we've had Pendulums in the past, we still have Pendulums, we have decks that have continuous spells that are floaters in themselves in the form of Cosmotown, and there's no like idea of that potentially stopping in the future. Stuff like that just continues to like play roles in why this card could easily just outshine Mystical Space Typhoon as a card in the near future. But I do really like this card simply because of how simple it is, how it literally 1-for-1 basically mirrors Mystical Space Typhoon. The only difference is it banishes the card, but because it's better because it banishes, you have to pay a cost for it. And the cost is negligible. 1,000 is definitely negligible, although it's probably a bit more than it should be, but then again, I don't see a way that it could probably be less and not just completely, like I've already spent time addressing, completely just invalidate MST in the game for the foreseeable future, because literally that's how some cards have happened. Like how that's the fate that some cards have had, is that they literally exist and they're very good cards, but they are invalidated by the fact that there's a new card out that does the exact same thing but slightly better and has no additional cost or requirements, and so the older card basically just gets replaced. So honestly, I want to know what you guys think about this card in the comments down below. Like I said, I meant to talk about this card literally ages ago, but I completely forgot about its existence until I was until it was played against me basically on DEVpro earlier today. So I'm curious as to what you guys think about this card. What do you think about the 1,000 cost? Is it too high? Is it too low? Or would it have just been fine to not have it? I mean, honestly, I think it would have been fine to not have it, but like I said, I'm not a fan of invalidating older cards, and that would have invalidated MST, basically. But anyway, what do you think of this card as an MST replacement? Stuff like that, just let me know in the comments down below what you think about this card in general. And other than that, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the nonsense you usually do. Links are in the description to my Facebook links and Twitch links if you want to check those out, definitely. That is what they are there for. If you want to support me, clicking ads on my videos and disabling ad block when you view my videos, it's more than sufficient. Cannot express how much it helps, nor how much it would be appreciated by myself if you could take the time out of your day to do that sort of thing to help me out. But other than that, that's pretty much all I want to say about this video. Like I said, let me know what you think about this card in the comments down below. I'm curious as to your opinions on it. But other than that, as always, guys, take care.